everyone, this is Dr. Liv with Livwithnewinsight, and thank you for joining me in another video. The title of today's video is Chance After Chance. Sometimes giving a person repeated chances and going back to them becomes self-sabotage. And no matter how much you love them, miss them, pray for them, or hope that they've changed, going back to that person will never bring you peace, because not every relationship deserves another chance. And today I'm providing insight about the situations where going back will only leave you unhappy, without peace, and stuck in painful cycles. So first, it is important and fair to discuss these facts. No person or relationship is perfect. We all have flaws. We all have room for growth, healing, and self-improvement. And people are certainly capable of change. However, the reality is not everyone does change. There are certainly times when distance, separation, and giving someone another chance can lead to both people becoming healthier, stronger, and happier. But that takes more than hope. It requires self-awareness, accountability, effort, consistency, and real intentional change. So here are 6 conditions when taking someone back will only lead to unhappiness, no security, and no peace. Number 1, when there has been a pattern of betrayal and harm. If someone has repeatedly lied to you, betrayed you, neglected you, physically, mentally, or emotionally abused you, used, exploited, and manipulated you, or continuously toyed with your emotions, please don't make the mistake of believing that your love, loyalty, patience, or history together will fix it. Love does not change people. No amount of hoping, waiting, or giving chance after chance will change these behaviors. People have to want to change. They must have enough self-awareness and insight to recognize that their behavior is harmful. They also need empathy and consideration for others, a willingness to take accountability, and the motivation to do the work necessary for lasting change. Number 2, when you're in love with potential instead of reality. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is projecting their own thoughts, feelings, values, and ways of loving someone onto another person. They assume that because they would never treat someone that way, other people won't either. They also assume that because they would fight for the relationship, apologize, communicate, or remain loyal, that other people will do the same. But as I often say in my videos, we must learn to separate facts from feelings, and we must challenge our thought traps. And this particular thought trap represents projection, and it is one of the most common thinking errors in relationships. Therefore, it is imperative to see people for who they are, not who you want or need them to be, or who they could become. Number 3, when there is no genuine remorse or accountability. If you go back to someone who has not shown genuine remorse, accepted accountability for their actions, and consistently demonstrated change through their behavior, you will likely find yourself angry, disappointed, and hurt all over again. Because words and promises are easy and empty without action. Real change requires sustained effort over time. It requires someone being intentional about making different choices. So don't expect different results from someone who continues repeating dysfunctional patterns, refuses to communicate honestly, avoids accountability, and shows no real desire for change. Number 4, when someone constantly projects their unresolved issues onto you. If a person continuously projects their anxiety, trauma, jealousy, insecurities, control issues, or unresolved emotional wounds onto you without taking responsibility for their own healing, the relationship will eventually become exhausting. Over time, you may find yourself constantly defending yourself, over-explaining, over-compromising, walking on eggshells, or trying to prove your intentions. You may even begin questioning yourself, doubting your own reality, or taking responsibility for problems that do not belong to you. You cannot heal someone who refuses to do their own work. Relationships cannot thrive when one person's unresolved wounds consistently become another person's responsibility. Number 5, when the relationship is one-sided. If you're always the one initiating contact, making plans, investing time and energy, compromising, apologizing, or carrying the emotional weight of the relationship, resentment will eventually develop. Healthy relationships require mutual effort. One person cannot sustain a relationship alone. Number 6, when your core values are fundamentally incompatible. Differences can exist in healthy relationships too. However, when fundamental values repeatedly create conflict and neither person is willing or able to communicate effectively, compromise, or respectfully agree to disagree, the relationship often becomes a source of chronic stress than peace. So if you have to suppress your emotions, hide who you really are, walk on eggshells, abandon your needs, constantly prove your love or worth, or sacrifice your mental health just to keep the relationship alive, you will never truly be happy in this type of dynamic. Peace should not cost you yourself, because the healthiest relationships allow you to be authentic, respected, and emotionally safe. And if returning to someone means losing yourself, the cost is simply too high. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.